small towns to big cities and everywhere in between. We're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
Hi everyone, I'm Ernie Anastas, and here we are. Thanks always for joining us. But you know, people often ask me, how do I stay positive? Well, honestly, it's a decision I make, especially before I fall asleep. It's like anything else. You can't take positivity for granted. You have to work on it. You have to prepare. It's like a job. And for sure, a lot of things go into being happy. What is it? You have to listen to people. You have to pay attention. It's a great way to learn and grow. And what's the old adage? When you're listening to other people, you tend to stop thinking about your own problems. Plus, people often have great stories to talk about. Like my first guest this week. For nearly 3 decades, she's built a reputation in the world of public relations by listening to others. And then she uses her expertise to help people and brands share their stories. Well, now it's her turn with her literary debut of Balls, How to Keep Your Relationship Alive When You Live with a Sports-Obsessed Guy. Let's bring in Ernestine Scalfani and her husband, Skip Bayless. So good to have you both on board. You look fabulous.
Well, to be here, Ernie.
We're trying to keep up with you.
Man, but you've got great energy out there, and I'm so happy you're here. Okay, I have to ask you, okay, we have a lot of questions for both of you. I'm going to start with you, Ernestine. Why did you write this book? Why'd you write the book?
Because I was about to jump out the window if I didn't, Ernie. I've been living with someone who lives for sports, and I have never even been to a football game in my life, and I knew I could not be alone. So I figured I had to take all of the knowledge and wisdom that I learned over all these years being with Skip and help others.
Well, it's an interesting concept. And, you know, Skip, I have to get your reaction to it. I mean, you know, you're such a pro. We've seen you on television for years. What's your reaction to your wife writing this book?
I think it saved our marriage, actually. It saved our sanity, because the irony of this whole equation is I chose her because she didn't know anything about sports, and I get tired of sports after a while, and I need a break and escape, and I needed somewhere to, like a safe harbor to go home to. And then I realized every night I'm watching every game ever played, and so she had to find a niche within those games. So she finally started playing her own games to figure out how to coexist within the framework of my life. And I'm not sure we pulled that completely off, but at least we're still afloat. We just passed our 6th anniversary.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. What a great review. It's a wonderful review. Ernestine, you must be happy with that reaction. You know, when people are listening and thinking about your book, what's the takeaway? What did you learn from writing this book, and what should other people understand?
I think it's not really just about sports. In my case, because I'm married to someone who is in sports, but it's really about compromising in a relationship. And it really doesn't matter what your partner does. You really have to listen, and you have to be able to be open and work on the relationship. And it's about compromising and making adjustments if you really care about that person.
Skip, I'm going to go back for a minute. You talked about how good your marriage is. When you first met Ernestine, right? Did you think this was going to last? What did you think?
Never. Oh, I'm sorry. That's your answer.
Yeah, there you go.
He hates me telling this story, Ernie, but the very first night we ever went out to a little pizza place on First Avenue in New York City.
66th Street.
Yeah.
66th and First, and we're sitting there going back and forth, and I weirdly thought this had potential, so I declared and disqualified myself up front. No matter where this goes, you will always be number 2 to my job, because my job is not a job. It's my passion. It's my life. It's my whole existence. And she despises that story. But I will give her this. She figured out how to become 1A, maybe not number 2, but 1A to my 1. And so we immediately started to find little compromises. If I had to watch a LeBron James game on Friday night, which became our date night, I would compromise. We'd make a deal where I'd say, hey, you give me the fourth quarter. I'll be okay if I can just watch the fourth quarter. So we'll watch a movie, maybe a rom-com sort of movie, until the fourth quarter. We're going to have to stop down for about 20 minutes or so.
But Ernie, what he's not telling you is that throughout the whole movie that we're watching, he has his computer on and he's looking at the game throughout the whole time we're watching the movie. So he's not just in the last quarter.
Yeah, but the thing is, just to wrap it up, you've learned the secret to making your marriage work and success, right? That's congratulations to both of you for that.
That's true. We're still here, Ernie.
But it took writing a book to get there. But we have found that the book has touched a lot of other lives too, because everybody seems to have some form of this issue in their relationship.
Yeah, well, I have to thank you both, Ernestine and Skip. You guys are terrific. Congratulations on the book. I think things are going to go really well for you, and I thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that's right. Point to her. Give her the credit, right?
But he's the reason why, so...
Coming up next year, another example of how listening to others can be hugely beneficial. My next guest is only an extra at work, which sounds a little funny, but you'll find out more about it when we come right back. We're back with you. Hi there, I'm Ernie Anastas here on Positively America. Okay, let me just take a minute to ask an interesting question for you. What do you think? Does the American dream still exist? Has it changed over time? It's a very timely issue, and you'll enjoy that story coming up on the show very soon. But first, right now, she is a very popular television reporter, a model, and a former local news anchor. You see her all the time on the hit show Extra, reporting entertainment news. Take a look at that big smiling face on the screen coming up there. Jennifer Lahmers is joining us right now. Hi, Jen.
Ernie, my friend, I'm so happy to see you again. I'm so happy that you're back on TV, right where you belong.
Well, thank you, and you're right where you belong to, doing great work. We're so proud of you. You know, we worked together back in New York, and you were doing live morning news. That was a real learning experience for you, wasn't it, Jen?
Oh, it sure was. I mean, getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning teaches you some things. It teaches you a lot about how much you can tolerate, that's for sure, and how early you can wake up without, drinking copious amounts of coffee. But I remember you, Ernie, I mean, you would make every Friday, and I'm not sure how many people know about this, but you would come in with your tambourine, and you'd do a little Friday song and dance and just get the crew pumped up, and it meant a lot. It really, really did.
Well, I love that positivity, and you have it, and you've made such an amazing transition from doing news, where you have to really think on your feet all the time, and here you are doing the same thing, but in a different venue now. You're doing entertainment. How do you like that transition from news to doing entertainment mostly?
Well, back when I was at Fox 5, I would do everything was live. Everything was, live hits in the morning and then hosting a live morning news show. But here it's a lot different. Everything's recorded. We have guests that come in our studio. I do a lot of red carpet premieres after my daily work ends. And it's just a lot more interviewing than I used to do whenever I was working in news, believe it or not.
It's big time. I mean, I love watching you on the show. You interview all the stars. You do such a great job on it. I know how busy you are, and that's quite a schedule. And people should know, a lot of people do, that you have an 8-month-old baby boy that you're so happy about. How's that all going, Jen?
It's been great. I mean, he's different every single week. It's just so much fun watching him grow up and watching him become more aware of the world. I mean, being a mom, anything that I have accomplished up until now pales in comparison. I know it sounds cliche, but I really honestly never knew that I could love this much. I will do anything for him. I want to live my life, and so I live it for him. Basically.
I can understand that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing in your life. Ever think about more kids? I mean, a lot of people will ask you that question. When you have one, what about 2 or maybe even 3? What do you think?
Well, listen, like I said, I'm 38. I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years.
Okay.
I kind of made like a little promise to myself. I don't want to go past 40 and have kids. So if it happens in the next couple of years, great. If it doesn't, I have baby Ethan, and he's just the best. So I'm good with 1 if that's the case. I'm an only.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, you give a lot of attention to one child, but, it's a personal choice. It's what you decide on. But, it really addresses the whole thing about values in life. And I know you have them. And there are a lot of people who are watching and saying, Jennifer Lahmers, my goodness, a big star on Extra. So, there are young people out there that are watching and saying, give me some advice. What should I think about when I'm thinking about my career and the other things, the more important things perhaps in life? How do you answer that, Jen?
For the first part of my career up until I was in my 20s, it was work, work, work. Career came first. I don't regret any of that because I had to make some major sacrifices in my personal life to get to where I am today, which is exactly where I want to be. And then, after Ethan came along, it really made me reprioritize everything about my life. I mean, work is now takes a significant backseat to him. Yeah. And I'm in a privileged position where, I'm with my boyfriend and he's making income as well. Single moms, God bless, they have to really make some tough choices when it comes to raising kids and going to work. So I applaud them because I know it's tough even having dual income and having the support system there. So I can't even imagine. But yeah, it takes a lot of sacrifice if you want to make it work for you.
And isn't it all about growing, just becoming more of who you are, right? That's what it is.
The older I get, the more comfortable I am in my own. That's for sure.
I love that. You sound great, Jen. It's always a pleasure. We'll be watching you on Extra. Jen Lahmers, what a great personality you are. And we appreciate you being with us, okay?
Thanks for having me, my friend.
Okay, you remember a few minutes ago, I asked you if you thought the American dream was still alive and how it may have changed over time. We're going to take a break. My next guest will answer that question with some very helpful tips on how you can still follow your dreams. Coming up next on Positively America. Keep it here.
Hi, I love my dog Lexi, but I also love watching Ernie on Positively America too.
And welcome back to the show. Hi, everybody. I'm Ernie Anastas. I thank you very much for joining us on Positively America. All right, let's get started. Joining me right now is a real money expert on money matters. She is a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute and a City Journal contributing editor with lots of financial experience. And we've been talking to her about the American dream. Is it still alive? What's changed? Now, this is good information for all of us, and I'm excited to talk to Allison Schrager. Hi, Allison. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Good. You know what? Let's talk about the American dream. You hear a lot about it. It's still out there. People talk about it. I want to know how it's changed. What's different, Allison?
Well, it's already changed over the years. When we were a newer country in the 19th century, a lot of the American dream was the fact that you had somewhere you could go and take risks and find your fortune. And I think it then evolved in the 20th century as, you knew you could provide for your family with a steady job, a good house, a good home, and good health care. And I think we're at another turning point for it again.
Do people feel like the American dream, is for everyone or just for a select few who have the opportunities?
I think people are feeling shut out of the American dream. I think partially because what we mean by American dream is changing, and what we offered in the 50s and 60s really isn't available. Housing is very expensive, education has gotten very expensive, and paying for healthcare costs have gotten so expensive. I think people feel like there's nothing left to pursue their dream.
Okay, now, a lot of people would be listening and saying, you're getting very negative on me, and your show is about positivity. So let's see how we can turn this around. Okay, there are some problems, some serious problems, as you point out. What's being done? What can we do to make it better?
I think ultimately it is a positive story. I think America, more than any other country, is still the best place to pursue your dreams. It's still a great place to start a new business. If you're willing to move and take risks, I think it offers more possibility than any other place in the country. The problem is that there are some constraints, but there's also more opportunities, and we need to find a better balance.
So where are these opportunities, okay? If someone's watching us now, any part of the country, and saying, oh, wait a minute, what kind of work should I be looking for? Where are the new places to go? Where are the opportunities and the growth for me as an individual and for my family? What suggestions do you have?
Well, it really depends on you and your goals and what you're looking for. I think there's been a lot of migration to the southern part of the country, like Texas and Florida. Right. And there's definitely a lot of possibilities there. But it's not for everyone to move there. I think people should need to I think we kind of got off track in the 50s and 60s, became very focused on removing risk from our lives and seeing the American dream as being very focused with stability. When really openness to risk is really what's defined the American dream for most of our history, and we need to become more open to those risks again.
From the research that you have, the information available to you, are there specific areas, in technology or whatever, that people should be looking for and saying, this is where I have a chance to really excel at something? I know you said that it's personal, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I think, it's a myth that there's only growth in tech. I think there's a lot of industries that offer possibility, even if you're someone who is more comfortable working with their hands and making things. All industries have gotten much more technology focused. So I think the onus is more on individuals now to be more entrepreneurial and sort of have to spend more time keeping up with the skills in their industry. Like say you want to become a plumber. It's a much more technical job than it used to be, but it's also an incredibly well-paid job.
Well, there are some people too that are saying, I don't necessarily need the college education. There are trades, there are other places that I can go to and still learn, grow, and make money for myself. I think a lot of people, when you talk about the American dream, Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, many people are thinking about being independent, being your own boss. Do you hear a lot of that?
Yeah, and I think it suits more and more people. The good thing, we hear a lot of negative things about the gig platforms, but in a lot of ways they also offer people an opportunity to be a lot more entrepreneurial, or maybe even sort of balance different jobs and find different customers. And that also allows you to hedge more risk and instead try entrepreneurship in ways you're comfortable with.
I like that. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask a lot of guests on the show because of the nature of the program. What's really great about America? Tell us what's great, in your opinion. What do you think?
I think it's still the best place to be a risk taker and has the most opportunities and offers the most upside if you are successful.
Allison, a good answer, and you're doing a lot of research, and I want you to come back and share a lot of information because this is a subject that a lot of people are very interested in, and you're an expert in that. I know you love what you do.
I do.
Well, keep it up, okay? We look forward to you.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right, after a short break, Billy Floyd is asking America if there's one universal thing that everyone should know. What do you think? I think we're going to have some interesting answers coming up right after the break. Keep it here.
From New York to LA and everything in between, it's Positively America.
Welcome back to Positively America. I'm Billy Floyd. This week, we're asking America, everyone should know how to
use good manners.
Is that an important lesson you teach your kids?
Absolutely.
What do they say? Please and thank you?
Please and thank you. Hold doors for people. Be respectful when you meet people on the street. Smile and say hello.
Ride a bike.
When did you learn how to ride a bike?
A long time ago.
Sing.
Sing us something. Give us something.
Nope.
Oh, say, can you
see?
Beautiful! Everybody should know how to
love.
And how do you love?
Open heart, open mind. Love everybody. Bring happiness to everybody every day. That's the key.
That's flawless. Beautiful.
Love you.
Oh, swim. Not only for safety reasons, but it's fun and good exercise.
Now tell me about your favorite place to go swimming.
The Caribbean. It's crystal blue, clear water, and always on vacation in the Caribbean.
Tyler's shoes.
I like it. How about you, my friend?
Everybody should know how to talk to strangers confidently.
Say that. That's my favorite one. Okay, last but not least.
Make a PBJ.
Yummy, yummy in our tummy. Come on. Looks like America knows what they're talking about. We'll see you next time on Positively America. I'm Billy Floyd.
Asking America. Thank you so much, Billy. All right, let's talk a little bit. I don't think it's any surprise to you that I love to talk. It's my life. It's what I do for a living and what I really enjoy. We all know that conversations are key to language development. You can exchange thoughts and ideas and learn a lot by doing it. But let me express something really important. I've learned this over many, many years interviewing people on television. Here it is. Be sure you listen. I really want you to emphasize that. Listen. We can learn more by hearing each other's thoughts and looking them in the eye. A person's face and body expressions can tell us so much about what they're thinking and feeling. This is how we experience human emotions, along with our words. It's how people can express themselves. Now, I really believe that conversations create a connection. The more you talk, the more you bond. It's the lifeblood of relationships and can help us to avoid misunderstandings and difficulties between people. A closed door creates problems, and an open door brings about solutions. That's what you have to keep in mind. When you're talking about good conversations, what's the basis here? It's not all about you. It's a balance between you and someone else. You have to listen, pay attention, absorb what they're saying, respect what they're saying, Okay? Remember that. Have a fantastic day. I'm Ernie Anastas. Stay positive, America, and we'll see you next time.